participating. So chat, if you're there, say hello, let's get into it. So how to dominate 2026 with money and leads. First and foremost, it starts with your mindset. Now, there is a tool called your RAS. Now, hey, Stefan, I'm glad you've joined. Welcome. Perfect timing. In fact, Stefan, so you're probably really well suited for this as an athlete and as a coach. Do you know what the RAS is? Has anyone heard of the RAS? Just a yes or no in the chat if you've heard of the RAS. What is it? What does it stand for? Let me know. It's to do with your mindset. Before we get into making money, before we get into the business growing and becoming successful, we need to get our mindsets right. We need to get our focus right. Anyone else know what the RAS is? Stefan, I appreciate you participating and saying no, because I'd never heard of this until I came across it and until I was taught it. But your RAS, it stands for your reticular activating system. It's an ancient tool that's in our heads that kept our ancestors alive and kept us focused and disciplined on the things that we needed to keep us alive when the world was far, far, far more dangerous for us. So the example that I'll give you is if we're walking down the road and I say to you, don't think of a red bus, what's the first thing that you're going to think of? Of course, in the chat, write down what you're going to think of. You're going to think of a red bus, right? And that's exactly how it works. Do not think of a red bus. Your reticular activating system, your RAS, has just been activated, because all you heard me really say is red bus. And that's what you're going to start seeing. And the reason that this is so important is that when we were hunter-gatherers, our only purpose was to stay alive, to find shelter, to find food and a bit of warmth. And that never went away. It's inside of our brains and it gets triggered very, very easily, especially when it comes to fight or flight. So in those times, our sole purpose was, let's look for those berries that are safe for us. Let's keep an eye out for the dangerous animals that might come and kill us. Let's keep an eye out for the cave that's going to keep us warm. And we're very focused on very simple things. Whereas today, our life is very, very busy. There's so much distraction going on, and it's so difficult to remain focused and to keep that reticular activating system focused. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is we need to ensure that we activate our RAS on a regular basis. And the only way that we can do this is by setting our goals and having vision boards and written plans, because they keep us focused and keep the RAS triggered. And you can only keep your RAS triggered in this very busy world by reviewing your goals weekly at a minimum, but ideally we want to be reviewing our goals daily. That's the best way that we can do it, day and night. The more we focus on it, the more likely it is that it's going to come true. And we see the things that we're looking for. So keeping our RAS activated is going to be critical for the success that you want to achieve in 2026. And I'll build on to this now. So what is a goal in our business? What is a goal? Why is it so important to have a goal? And it is very much linked to the RAS. So it's very easy to confuse a goal with a vision or a task, a task that's on your task list, and that gets longer and longer and longer. Most people are not able to define what a goal is, and it must be written. So let us explore what a goal is, because it's critical for 2026. What is a vision, first of all? And do you have one in your business? Any thoughts? Just put it in the chat. What is a vision? I'll wait for you to participate. Even if you don't know, just put a question mark. Question mark is very much acceptable in the chat. I just need to know that you're there and that you're with me and that you're playing along. This is very much an interactive event. And the more you participate, the more that I know that you're there, the more questions you ask, means that I can help you as much as I can as well. So what is a vision? If you don't know, put a question mark. If you do know, or you've got an idea, just jot that down. A concept that you want to bring to life. I think vision is an inspirational statement describing what a company is. Yeah, Ashley, spot on. I'm glad you're here as well, Ashley, by the way. Stefan, yeah, a vision is inspirational. You're spot on. That is exactly what it is. It's the big picture. It's the thing that ignites the imagination and it ignites excitement in a person. So back in the 60s, JFK had a vision of putting a man on the moon. That was the big vision. That was the big picture. And it inspired and ignited the whole world to believe in something that may not have been possible without that massive, bold statement. But it was a vision. So the question I have for you, and jot this down, please, is do you have a vision for your business and for your brand? And in fact, do you have a vision for your life? For this particular event, it's not necessary. but it is important. It's something that you can work on in the future, because what we're actually going to focus on is goals. But the purpose of a vision is to enroll and to inspire. There's a fantastic story of JFK and the moon landing in the 60s. And apparently he was visiting a NASA building, and he asked the cleaner, look, what do you do here? And rather than saying he's a cleaner, the cleaner turned around and said, I'm helping to put a man on the moon. He believed in something that was bigger than him. And that's the purpose of a vision, to enroll your clients, your customers, your team, to believe in something that's bigger than themselves and bigger than the company. But that's not what we're focusing on today. But it's important to understand the difference between a vision and a goal. So my vision for Mr. Singh's, for example, is the #1 chili snack brand in the country, worth £100 million. That's my dad that you see on screen. And actually, it's outrageous for me to even think that. But if you're in the team, if you're in the family, if you're a part of Mr. Singh's, it's something to get quite excited about, because all of a sudden nothing's off limits. We have to try everything that we can to achieve this goal, achieve this vision and bring it to life. But getting into the nitty-gritty and the most important bit, what is a goal? So if a vision is the big picture, in the chat, again, what do you think a goal is? What's the difference? What is a goal? Chat, let me know. What is a goal? If a vision is the big picture, what is a goal? Question marks are acceptable, by the way. If you don't know what a goal is, or you've got a vague idea, question mark is perfectly acceptable. Put it in the chat, then I know that you're there and that you're with me. Specific measurable outcome that we aim to achieve. That's the way in which to use a goal. Absolutely, Stefan. But if a vision is a big picture to enroll and inspire, this is what a goal is. The goal is a stepping stone to the vision. All right. And that's what we all need to have in our businesses as we move into 2026. What is the stepping stone for us and in our business to move forward to the big vision that we've got? Okay. And in this particular session, we're going to work through defining and writing down your own goals. So I hope you've got pens and papers, notepads, your iPads, wherever you're taking notes. Write this stuff down, because I want you to walk away with the outline, at least the structure of a goal for you in 2026 that's going to help you become even more successful. So look, my analogy that I've got for a goal and why it's so important to have it in your business, and more importantly written down, is this. Let's say, for example, we're going somewhere and we're using Google Maps or Waze. And the first thing that you do when you power up the app is you put your postcode in the sat nav, right? And off you go. So we're going off on our journey, and we decide to pull over for a coffee, enjoy the coffee, and we set off again. Where do we end up? If we've gone off track, but we're still using the app, we're still using sat nav, once we've set off again from having our coffee, where would we end up? In the chat, let me know. Not a trick question, by the way. If we're using Google Maps, we've set off on a destination, we've pulled over for a coffee, and then we set off again, where do we end up? Let me know your thoughts. Question mark is okay as well. Well, the answer is we'll end up exactly where we put into the sat nav, right? We're going to end up in the exact same destination, because it's going to reroute us and it'll tell us how long it's going to take to get there, and if there's any delays or any traffic, etc., etc. But the most important part of it is, what if there was no postcode in the sat nav? Where would you end up? It's a really important question. Where would you end up if there was no postcode in the sat nav? We'd end up lost, right? We could end up close to where we wanted to go. We could find that place. We could end up lost, but really we're going to end up going around and around in circles. And for most business owners that I meet, most do not have a goal that's written down. Most do not have a postcode in the sat nav. So my question to you is, do you have a postcode in the sat nav for your business, especially for 2026? And if you don't, what could that be? Because if you don't have it written down, if you're not clear on what that looks like, you're going to go around and around circles. You won't know what your priorities are and what to be focusing in on. Okay, so it's critical that you have that postcode in the sat nav, and that's what a goal is for your business. So how do we go about setting powerful goals? Okay, I'm going to share with you how we set powerful goals for your business in 2026. Quite simply, we start with the end in mind. We put the postcode in the sat nav. Okay, we think 12 months into the future. That is where we start. Okay, once we've started with that, that means our RAS has been triggered. And it's very important that we trigger this RAS on a regular basis to remind ourselves of what our goal is, because we don't actually have a sat nav for our business. So we have to do the things that we need to do to trigger our RAS every single day. That's where vision boards come in, alarms come in, habits come in, rituals come in, but we have to remind ourselves. Then from that 12-month goal, we work backwards and we identify what our top 3 priorities are for the next 90 days. What's going to move us closer to our goals? So Q1 next year, Q1 2026, what are our top 3 priorities that are going to move us towards the goal that we've set for ourselves at the end of 2026? And what's going to have the maximum impact right now? Oftentimes people can set too many goals. That's a big problem because there's so much to do, but we want to have a maximum of 3 goals. And it's critical that it's no more than that because there's only you to make all of this happen in your business. In particular, if you're a small business as well, right? So look, we've identified what a vision is. We know we have to trigger our RAS and make sure that we stay focused. We now know, okay, we want to chop this up into the next 90 days so we know what we're going to be doing in Q1. And now we have to commit to our goals. Make sure the goals are set up in the right way. Many of you would have seen this. Some of you may not have. But if you do know, just put a yes or a no in the chat box. What is a SMART goal? If you know what a SMART goal is, put a yes. If you don't know what a SMART goal is, put a no. So just a Y or an N, yes or a no in the chat. Let me know that you're there, that you're participating. What is a SMART goal? No. Appreciate that, Stefan. Anyone else? Any yeses or nos? What is a SMART goal? Yes or no in the chat. Do you know? Sorry, do you know what a SMART goal is? Yes or no? Yes or no? What is a SMART goal? No. Ashley, I appreciate you joining. Anyone else? What is a SMART goal? Do you know what it is? Yes or no? Well, look, if you don't know, good. I'm glad you don't know because I didn't know until I found out about it. So a SMART goal is this. It's a specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based goal. Okay, so what does that mean? What does that look like? What is a specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based goal? Let's go for an example, okay? Here's something that most people can relate to. Either you've done it yourself or you've heard someone set a goal like this, okay? A vague goal is, my goal is to get fit this year. Stefan, very much aligned with what you do in fitness and gymnastics. I'm sure you've heard this a million times over. My goal is to get fit this year, right? That's quite vague, quite woolly. And most people set business goals like this. My goal for my business is to grow. My goal for my business is to become popular. My goal for my business is to get 100,000 followers. It's all, a bit woolly and a bit vague. But what is a SMART goal? So a SMART goal is, my goal is to run a 25-minute 5K by December. Okay. Now we're in December now, but let's just say hypothetically, how can we ensure that this is a SMART goal? Is it specific? Yes, it's very specific. Is it measurable? Yeah. 25 minutes, 5K, there's some metrics in there. Is it achievable? Yes. Assuming that this was set at the beginning of the year, it's a very achievable goal. Is it realistic? Yeah, absolutely. 25-minute 5K by December is totally achievable. And is it time-based? Yeah. December's in there, so there's a time limit. So assuming that you set this goal for next year, there's plenty of time, 12 months, to make this happen, and it's a SMART goal. Now, once you've set that SMART goal, the other critical part of it is who is going to be watching your performance. If you think about this, let's use sport and football as an example. The players on the pitch are doing their thing, but outside of that, the coaches, the data scientists, they're all watching what's going on and they're measuring performance. If I go back to the car analogy, we know how much petrol we've got in the tank. We know how fast we're going. We know if our brakes are working, if we need to put air in our tires. There's a dashboard. It tells us what's going on and we're measuring performance. But who is going to be watching your performance in the business? And how are you going to be doing that? Who's holding you accountable? Because so many of us set goals and then it goes in the top drawer and you forget about it. It's written on your phone, you forget about it. You may even have it on your wall, but then it starts blending into everything else. Who is holding you accountable? Who are you working with to ensure that you're being held accountable to the goals that you set for yourself and do the things that you said you were going to do? Obviously, I do this in my coaching program over a 90-day period, and with the community, you're held accountable to the things that you said you were going to do to ensure that you achieve the goal that you set for yourself for 2026. Okay, so if you don't have someone that's watching you, if you don't know how you're going to watch your own performance, write that down and really work on that over the next couple of weeks before the year ends, because that's going to be the game changer. Now, as we move into marketing, which is critical for all of our businesses, do we need a written, this is critical, the word written, do we need a written marketing plan? Just again, a yes or no in the chat. Let me know if you're there with me. Let me know what you think. Do we need a written marketing plan? in our business? Or is it all right up in our head? Yeah, Ashley's saying yes, absolutely. Anyone else? Do we need a written marketing plan? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, we need it written down, because in here it gets mixed up with everything else. But here's why it's so important, okay? Here's why it's so important. What happens in our business, in most small businesses that I work with, is that you see this, okay? It's called peaks and troughs, feast and famine of cash flow. The reason that happens is because normally this happens. The business owner puts in a huge amount of activity to generate leads, to generate interest, to generate business, to sell their products. And then when all of that interest comes in, they stop putting the efforts into their marketing and they start delivering the work. They start delivering the coaching. They start delivering the product. And then the activity that got them there in the first place drops. And so they have this peaks and troughs, feast and famine of cash flow that follows their marketing activities. Because nothing's written, there's no marketing plan and no strategy. There's nothing that's keeping them consistent in their marketing. Their cash flow goes like this because it follows their marketing activity, which is always very, very reactive. So again, have a little think about how you're going to write down your marketing plan and how you're going to stay consistent in your messaging and in your activity whilst you get on with the day-to-day of running your business. Because without that, you're going to have feast and famine and lumpy cash flow in your business. And it's very, very difficult to operate like that. So what is your marketing plan? I actually coach this particular page that I'm going to share with you in my program. It's the first session that we work on. We spend hours, in fact, answering these questions, but I'm going to give it to you very quickly. Take a screen grab of it because it's going to be critical. So how do you write a marketing plan? And in fact, this becomes your marketing strategy. Okay, the answers to this question becomes your marketing strategy and replaces any business plan that you've got. Okay, being very clear on who your target audience is. Who is going to be using your product? Who is going to be buying your product? They're two different people sometimes. Sometimes it's the same person. But who is your target audience? Having that written down, okay? Critical. Why are they going to buy from you? You can't say it's the best quality. You can't say you have the best design, because everyone says that. Everyone is going to say they're the best. Everyone's going to claim that they are the best. But why are they going to buy from you? What is the pain that you're actually solving specifically for them, and only you can solve that particular pain? How are you going to market to them? So if you know who you're selling to, you know why they're going to buy from you, how are you going to market to them? How are you going to get in front of them and make sure that they can see you and they can put their hand up to say, yes, I'm interested in what you do and I'm interested in your business? Who's going to be responsible for the marketing in your business? Who's going to be responsible for content? Who's going to be responsible for editing? If it is you, when are you going to make the time to do this? Where is it in your diary? Have you blocked time to do this? And if it's not you, then who are you going to delegate that work to? And if you have delegated it, is it to the right person? Or do you need to maybe bring in freelancers and help to make this all come to life? Uncomfortable team members means sometimes work gets allocated to people that don't really want to be doing that work or are not the right people for that work. So if you have got teams, it's something to consider. When exactly will you or they do the marketing? Again, it's got to be written down in your diary. Have you got time in your diary to work on your business and work on your goals? And when it comes to investment, are you going to be investing money? Are you going to be investing time? Are you going to be investing both? Is that written down? Do you have a budget for the year? A spreadsheet that tells you how much you're going to be spending either in time and money, and are you measuring against it? Again, the dashboard for your business and dashboard for your car. Critical. The outcome. What's the target of your marketing plan? What is the target of your marketing plan? Because the purpose of all marketing is to deliver your SMART goal. It's not just putting stuff out there for the sake of it and getting likes and follows on Instagram or TikTok and sign-ups on your email list. The purpose of your marketing is to deliver your goal. If your goal is to live on a beach in Bali, then everything that you do in your business should be designed around delivering that goal, nothing else. So what is the outcome target for your plan, your marketing plan, your marketing strategy? And do you have a documented conversion journey? What does that mean? That means, do you have a actual written, documented conversion journey from when someone is interested in what you do to when they contact you and the journey they have to go through to buy your product and service? And if you don't, why not? Have that written down, because that gives you the opportunity to improve your conversion rate, your sales process, and to identify weaknesses in the process that it takes for someone to become a prospect and then become a client and then to eventually becoming a raving fan and referring your business and your services. Because word of mouth marketing is the best marketing. However, it's the riskiest marketing because you've got no control over it. Okay, so take a screen grab of this. This is your marketing plan. This is your marketing strategy. Hey, no problems at all. Glad you could join. So this is the entire first session that I coach in my program. However, we spend hours working on this. I'm giving you the snapshot of it that you can start to look at and start to work on, okay? But the most important question for you to consider is how are you going to grow your lead numbers in your business? All right, how do you grow your lead numbers in your business? As I said before, referrals and word of mouth are the best form of marketing, but it's out of your control. You've got no say over how someone else is going to talk about your business. So what can you control? What outputs can you control in your business to grow your lead numbers? What activities can you take? And remember, 9.5 out of 10 marketing campaigns, marketing strategies will not work. So are you doing enough marketing? Literally 1 or 2 out of 10 are going to work. So are you trying enough different things and enough marketing activities to figure out what works? If you don't know the answer to this particular question, again, write it down, take a screen grab of it so you can start to understand what you need to explore over the next couple of weeks to answer this question as to how you can grow your lead numbers. Of course, in my program, we cover this. We cover different strategies and ways and channels in which you will grow your lead numbers and get yourself out there. And then it leads me into this, probably the most powerful strategy you can use to increase your profits and growth in your business. Again, I coach on this in the program for hours because it's so powerful, but I'm going to share it with you today because it's that important and that critical. And if you can take anything away from this to transform 2026, is this particular tool. So get your calculators ready. So 5x growth works like this. Okay, there's some key metrics that we want to be looking at in our business. All right. And the question that I've got for you, and please answer in the chat, is what's the difference between the items in white and the items in yellow? What are the differences? If you don't know, again, just a question mark in the chat is totally fine. If you've got an idea, just write it down in the chat because it helps me know that you're there and that you're playing along. But what is the difference between the items in white and the items in yellow? Let's have a look. Difference between the items in white and items in yellow. Don't know, Stefan. I appreciate that. I love that answer because that was me, by the way. When I first came across this, I had no idea what any of this meant. Anyone else? What's the idea? What's the difference between the items in white and the items in yellow? Remember, I coach on this for hours and hours because it's so powerful, but I want to just give you the top line so it's going to transform your 2026. So look, let me tell you this. Let me give you the answer, okay? The difference between the items in white and the items in yellow is that the items in white are outputs, okay? You are in control of them. Hey, Octavia, welcome. Octavia, you know this. So Octavia's in the group. She's been on my program. I know her. She's a friend and she's incredible. Thank you for joining. I'm just sharing the 5x growth. And look, the items in white are outputs. The items in yellows are outcome. We can't control the items in yellow. All right. So let's play along and do this with real numbers. Okay. So let's say all of us here, we've got a business and it generates 4,000 leads a year. Okay. 4,000 leads a year. So a lead, for the context of this exercise, a lead is someone that puts up their hand, say, I'm interested in what you do. They're not necessarily going to buy from you, but they're interested. We've got a conversion rate of 25%. Meaning that we have 1,000 customers. So if you're doing this on your phone, you're doing the calculator or you're doing it in your head, you do 4,000 times 25%, it gives us 1,000 customers. All right. So we've got a 25% conversion rate. Nice. Then if we look at the number of transactions that someone is going to do with us over the course of the year, let's say they're going to buy from us twice, okay, in this business that we've got, hypothetical business. And every time they do a transaction with us, they're going to spend with us £100. So if we've got 1,000 customers, they buy from us twice, and they spend £100 each time, what's the turnover of our business? You can do the math on your calculator or in your head if you're good like that. Octavia, you can play along. You know the answers. Amanda, if you're there watching as well with Octavia, hello. But what's the turnover of this business? Answers in the chat. So if we've got 4,000 leads that have come in, 25% conversion rate, we've got 1,000 customers, excellent. They're going to transact with us twice a year, and they're going to spend £100 each time. AJ, how's it going? What's the turnover of our business? And it's going to be critical that you're going to see why these numbers are so critical and why it's so important to measure these numbers in a minute. If you don't know, again, question marks totally fine. Question marks totally fine in the chat if you don't know the answer to this. But if you want to put it in your calculator, it's 1,000 times 2 times 100. 1,000 times 2 times 100. Any ideas? Not a trick question, I promise. I'll give it to you. The answer is 200,000, okay? So 200K business, fantastic. So look, a £200,000 business we've now got, okay? And we've got a 25% profit margin, meaning that at the end of the year, we get to keep a nice £50,000. All right, but here's where it gets so powerful, so interesting, and when it became the game changer for me. All right, why is it important? Well, what if each of these 5x metrics were increased by 10%? So the outputs, the items in white that we can control, what if we increase them by 10%? So let's say we improved our marketing and we used a few more channels and we actually got 4,400 leads that came in over the course of a year, okay? And then on top of that, we improved our conversion rate. You know, we were a bit more targeted in our selling. We knew who we were selling to. We were addressing their pain points. We were getting better referrals, all of this type of thing. So our conversion rate started to go up. How many customers are we now going to get over the course of the year? So if your number of leads have gone to 4,400, 10% increase, conversion rate's gone up by 10%, how many customers are we going to get over the course of the year? Answers in the chat. If you don't know, just put a question mark. But if you do know, put it in the chat. How many customers are we going to get over the course of a year? Once you start to see how powerful this is, it will honestly change your business in 2026. Even if you just work on one of these, when I reveal it later, it will be transformative. But how many customers have we got? Number of leads gone up by 10% because we worked on our marketing. Conversion rate has gone up by 10% because we've improved our targeting. How many customers have we now got over the course of a year? Either a question mark, put your number in, have a guess. It doesn't matter. Put it in the chat. Let me know that you're here with me. Let me know. Yeah, spot on, Stefan. Spot on. 1,210. Now that's interesting. Think about it. It's interesting. It's not gone up by 10%. It's actually gone up by 12.1%. The reason being is because of the compound effect of your number of leads going up and your conversion rate going up. You're multiplying compounding gains. And this is where it really starts to get powerful. Now imagine over the course of the year, I know it's not possible for someone to transact with you 2.2 times, but imagine they they buy from you just a little bit more. And every time they buy from you, they're actually spending a little bit more money as well. Okay, so your number of leads has gone up, conversion rate has gone up, therefore your total number of customers goes up. They're buying from you just that little bit more each year, and they're spending a bit more money each year. Look at what it does to your turnover. Your turnover goes from 200,000 to 292,820 pounds over the course of a year. Massive £92,000 increase just by looking at these 4 metrics in your business. Now, what if we do the same again and we increase our profit margins? What if the profit margins go up by 10% as well? Because you maybe improved your buying, maybe you've improved efficiencies, you've increased prices, whatever tactic you've used, but your profit margins have gone up. Your profit goes up to £80,000 over the course of a year. £30,000 more money in your pocket. So that means turnover gone up 46%, but more importantly, your profit's gone up 61% just by looking at these 5 metrics in your business. Now, I'll ask you, are you measuring these 5 metrics in your business? Are you measuring the number of leads that are coming in, written down, not in your head? Are you measuring your conversion rate? Your number of transactions, the average spend, your margins? Are you tracking these numbers? Do you have a dashboard? Again, I coach on this for hours and hours and hours. In my program, I'm providing people with an actual dashboard that's theirs for life, because these numbers are critical to the growth of your business. As you can see, once you start to tweak and adjust some of these numbers, the compounding gains over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in your business is massive. So let's assume you are tracking these metrics. Let's assume you are tracking these metrics in your business. And remember, there's only the 5 that we can really control. Which one do we tackle first? What's the most important? Answers in the chat. Let me know what you think. Which is the most important that you tackle first? If we know all 5 of them are critical to the growth of your business, which one do we tackle first? If you don't know, question mark in the chat is totally fine as well. But let me know. Which one are we going to tackle first? The number of leads, conversion rate, the number of transactions, the average spend, or the margins in our business? Let me know in the chat. What's the most important? Number of leads, Stefan. Yeah, absolutely. It's an important one to look at. Any other viewpoints, or do you agree with Stefan? Just put it in the chat. Which is the most important metric in your business to tackle straight away? Which one do you start with first? I'll go back to it. I'll go back to the importance of these metrics and how important they are for your business. The 5 metrics in white are what we control, and if we increase them by 10%, your profits go up by 61%, turnover 46%. So which one do we tackle first? Because you can't do all of it at the same time. In the chat, let me know what you think. Question mark is totally okay. Lets me know that you're here with me. Very important, because this is an interactive webinar. I need to know that you're here, that you're participating. Ashley, you don't know. I appreciate that. Any others? Any other question marks? Any other considerations? Let me know. Which one do we look at first? You as a business owner, if you're going to go away and work on one tonight that will transform your business, which one would you tackle first? Because it's going to put more money in your pocket straight away. Jay, customer numbers. So the way that we look at it is this. We actually tackle margin first. Margin is the first thing that we look at. Once we've looked at our margin, we then look at our conversion rate. And you see it says S4, S1, because that's, again, I cover this in my program. In session number 4, we look at how your margins work and how to improve them in your business. In session number 1, we look at conversion rates and why they're so important. Then we look at average sale, number of transactions, and finally we look at leads. We look at margin first because essentially it's free. It's free, and it's the easiest thing to do to improve your business literally overnight. And one of the quickest ways you can improve your profit margins is just by increasing your prices by 10%. And most of your clients are not going to notice the difference. They won't bat an eyelid. Increase your prices by 10%. It's a perfect time to do it. New year, new prices. Sign up now before the new prices kick in, etc., etc., etc. But increasing your prices by 10% moving forward instantly puts more profit in your back pocket. Okay, so margins improved straight away. So great, we've done that. We then look at conversion rate number 2, because actually if you're getting, you don't have to change anything in your marketing, but if you're already getting interest, but you can start to convert just a few more people from that interest that's already coming in. Think about the compound effect of that. You're now making more money and you're converting more clients, therefore more turnover. Why is the number of leads last? Be interested to gather your thoughts on this. Why is the number of leads last? Any thoughts? Again, question mark is totally acceptable as an answer. If you don't know, just put a question mark in the chat. But why is leads last? Why are we going to tackle the number of leads last in our business? Let me know your thoughts. Question mark, don't know. Good. That is a fantastic answer. The reason we tackle the number of leads last is that it's the hardest thing to do. It costs the most amount of money, takes the most amount of time, and the most amount of effort. I do caveat this by saying we always need fresh leads in our business, because without fresh leads always coming in, our business dies. All businesses are the same, whether you're Apple, whether you're Tesla, or whether you're the greengrocer down the road. We always need new customers and new leads. But it's the hardest thing to do, costs the most amount of money, and takes the most amount of time. And therefore, if we can work on some of the other metrics in the background immediately, they're going to give us quicker wins in our business. And in particular, if we're getting ready for 2026 and we're combining this with a goal that we've set and quarterly goals that we've set, then it all compounds and has a transformative effect on the business. So look, what I wanted to do as well as a part of this event was I wanted to offer everyone that's here the chance to get a free book. So there's this book here, the $100 million offers book by Alex Hormozi. This is on offer today as well. And I want to gift everyone that's here today a one-to-one coaching session. I've taken a screen grab from my actual document that gives my rates. I'm being very transparent about my monthly rates of coaching for my clients. So £700 a month for a single session, $1,350 a month for 2 sessions. My actual coaching program, it's a 90-day coaching program, is £697, one-off payment, and it lasts for over 12 hours of coaching plus 12 hours of homework. But today I'm offering everyone a free coaching session if that's something that you're interested in. If you are interested in that and you want to have that session, just drop a yes in the chat and I will give you the link in the chat and you can book yourself in. And anyone that does the coaching session with me, I'll give you a copy of the book as well. So that you can take that away with you and work on that, use that book and implement everything that you learn from that book in your business. And you can use the coaching session basically to implement what you've learned today. And of course, if you're interested to talk about my program or getting help in your business longer term and implementing that straight away in your business, then we could talk about that also, as long as you think it's going to add value to your business. So Calendly.com / All right, so I've just put my Calendly link in the chat. If you're interested in booking that session with me, just book the 45-minute session at a time and date that works for you. And we'll have the gifted one-to-one coaching session. And I'm more than happy to help you guys out and implement and coach you through anything that you're going through. I do also have discount codes for a couple of programs that will help you in your lead generation and your marketing. So if you use Instagram, I've got a discount code to ManyChat that I can share with you. And if you are interested in like a lead gen form, I use a platform called ScoreApp for my assessment quiz. Normally it's like £90 a month, but they've got like a 40% discount that I can share with you guys as well. So if you're interested in that, again, just put a yes in the chat box. I'll share the links with you, and you can obviously sign up to them. So just before I finish this, if there's anything that you want me to cover again, I've got another 10 minutes or so. If there's anything what you want me to recap in the presentation that I've just given, let me know in the chat, and I'm more than happy to share that with you again. So I'm just going to go through this in reverse to trigger your memory if you do want to go through anything. But in the chat, let me know what you think. Any questions, any queries, what you're uncertain of. Again, I cover pretty much everything in the coaching program, but whilst we're here, whilst we're talking, and you're here with me, if there is anything that you want me to cover again, let me know. And I'm more than happy to go over that again with you guys. And remember, like, if you book the coaching session, I will give you a copy of this book and you get the discount codes as well. Stop sharing now. All right, everyone. Thank you for your participation. And in the chat, yeah, let me know. Questions, was it a value, first of all? Yes or no? If it was no, that's totally fine as well. I won't take offense. Let me know how I can make this better, how I can improve it. If you got value from it, just a yes would do as well. It'd be great to know that I've added value and helped you in your business. Oh, perfect. I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. There's value in it. My pleasure, Ashley. I'm glad that you were here and you joined. Good. I'm glad. If like I said, if you're interested in the one-to-one session, the link's in the chat, or you could drop me a WhatsApp or an email. I'm sure most of you have got my details either on Instagram or YouTube. Drop me a message and I'll share the link if you don't get it here. Hey, Glenn, Yeah, looking forward to joining in Jan. Yeah, you're getting all the good stuff in January. I'm looking forward to starting with you. By the way, Glenn, I'm glad that you're here. I've sent you all the onboarding information. If you could respond to that, that'd be perfect, because I'm getting all my AI stuff activated next week to generate your report for the program. So if you could respond to the onboarding, that'd be much appreciated. Any questions that you've got, let me know. Otherwise, we are good to go, and I appreciate you all joining today. I tell you, being completely transparent with you, I was crazy nervous. It's so nerve-wracking doing this, because you don't know if anyone's going to turn up, if anyone's going to participate, and you just have to put yourself out there. So even though I'm coaching, I'm delivering, I've got my own businesses, I'm used to being in front of camera with Mr. Sings, it's still like a nerve-wracking experience. So I'm really grateful to you all being here and keeping me company and participating as well. Looks like that's it from everyone in the chat. So I'm going to sign off here, and I look forward to connecting with you all over the next couple of weeks. And I genuinely wish you all like the most successful 2026 as well. Whether you're doing the program or not with me, let's stay connected. Let's all win together. All right, peace.